What is up, family? Welcome back to another episode of Aprende Inglés Fácil, the place where we make English simple, natural, and, most importantly, fun. I'm Ethan.
And I'm Lily. We are absolutely thrilled to have you here with us today. Whether you are driving, washing the dishes, running on the treadmill, or just relaxing with a cup of coffee, thank you for choosing us to level up your English today. Ethan, how are you feeling today, my friend?
I am feeling amazing, Lily. I've been looking forward to recording this specific episode all week because we are tackling a topic that is going to save our listeners a lot of headaches.
Oh, yes. Today we are talking about the silent killers of fluency. These are those tiny, sneaky grammatical mistakes that almost every single Spanish speaker makes when learning English.
Exactly. And here is the thing, guys. These mistakes don't stop people from understanding you. If you say them, a native speaker will still get your point. But if you fix them, your English instantly sounds polished, professional, and incredibly natural. It's like magic.
It really is. It's the difference between sounding like you are translating literally in your head and actually thinking in English. So grab a notebook, sit back, and let's dive into episode 23. All right, Ethan, let's start with the granddaddy of all mistakes. The one I hear at least 5 times a day when coaching students. It is people is.
Oh, the classic people is. It hurts my ears just a little bit, Lily, not gonna lie, but I totally understand why people say it.
Explain it to us, Ethan. Why does our brain desperately want to say people is?
It's all about literal translation. In Spanish, the word for people is la gente. La gente is grammatically singular. You say la gente es simpática, right? You use es, which is singular.
Exactly. So when a Spanish speaker translates that directly, they think gente equals people, es equals is. Therefore, people is nice.
But in English, people is a collective noun that is always, 100% of the time, treated as plural. Think of people as person plus person plus person. It represents multiple individuals. Since it's plural, we must use are.
So the correct way to say it is people are nice.
Exactly. Let's practice some quick examples. Lily, how would you say la gente en Nueva York siempre tiene prisa?
I would say people in New York are always in a hurry. Notice I used are, not is. Perfect. And what about la gente está preocupada por la economía? People are worried about the economy. Again, are. Guys, write this down in big red letters in your notebook. People equals are. No exceptions.
All right, let's move to mistake number 2. This is another one born directly from translation. Lily, how old are you?
Oh, Ethan, you should never ask a lady her age, but for the sake of education, I am 28 years old.
Perfect.
You said I am 28. But do you know what a lot of beginners say?
They say, I have 28 years.
Yes, I have 25 years. My brother has 30 years.
And again, this makes total sense in Spanish because you use the verb tener, to have, for age. Yo tengo 28 años. But guys, in English, we do not possess our years. We don't hold them in our pockets.
Exactly. In English, age is a state of being. We are our age. So we use the verb to be. Am, is, are. Correct? I am 25 years old. Or simply, I am 25. Incorrect, I have 25 years.
So if you want to ask someone their age, you don't say, how many years do you have? No. You say, how old are you?
And if you are talking about your parents, you say, my mom is 55 and my dad is 60. Keep it simple with the verb to be.
This next one is a personal pet peeve of mine. It's when someone asks me, Lily, can you explain me this word?
Oof, Explain me. That one is super common, even among intermediate students. Why do you think that is, Lily?
Because in Spanish, we attach the pronoun directly to the verb or put it right before. We say, explícame or me explicas. The me is right there next to the action.
Right. But in English, the verb explain behaves differently. You cannot explain a person. If you say explain me, it grammatically sounds like you want me to describe you as a person. Like, well, Lily, you have brown hair, you are energetic.
Explain me. Tell me who I am. Exactly. But if you want me to explain a topic or a rule, you must use the preposition to before the person. Correct? Can you explain this rule to me? Incorrect. Can you explain me this rule? Let's give them another common verb that does the same thing. Say versus tell.
Oh, that's a huge one. You tell a person, but you say something to a person. You say, tell me the truth. Correct, no to needed with tell, but you say something to me. You need to with say.
So never say, he said me that he was tired. That is incorrect. You should say, he told me that he was tired, or he said to me that he was tired.
All right, let's play a little game, Lily. I'm going to give you a scenario, and you tell me which verb to use.
I love games. Let's do it.
Okay, imagine you wake up late. You run out of your house, you get to the bus stop, but just as you arrive, you see the bus driving away down the street. Did you lose the bus, or did you miss the bus?
Oh, I missed the bus. I missed the bus.
Correct. But why not lose?
Because lose, perder, is for physical objects that you cannot find. If you lose something, it means you don't know where it is. If you say, I lost the bus, it sounds like you owned a giant bus, put it somewhere, and now you can't find it. Like, oh my God, where did I park my city bus? I lost it.
Honey, have you seen the bus? I think I left it in the kitchen. That is a hilarious mental image.
Exactly. So, use lose for objects, keys, games, money, or weight. Like, I lost my keys, we lost the soccer game, I want to lose weight. Use miss for transportation. Bus, train, plane, events, opportunities, or people you long for. Like, I missed my flight, I missed the party, I miss my family. That is a perfect explanation. So, guys, if you arrive late to our podcast, you didn't lose it, you missed it. But luckily, you can always hit play again. Let's talk about agreement. Ethan, do you agree that English pronunciation is crazy sometimes?
Oh, absolutely. I fully agree.
Notice what Ethan just said. He said, I agree. He did not say, I am agree.
Yes, this is a massive trap for Spanish speakers. In Spanish, you say estoy de acuerdo. The word estoy comes from the verb estar, to be. So naturally, learners translate estoy to I am, and de acuerdo to agree.
But here is the secret, guys. Agree is not an adjective in English. Agree is a verb. It is an action. Right. Just like you don't say, I am run or I am eat, you don't say, I am agree. You just conjugate the verb directly. Positive, I agree with you. Negative, I disagree with you or I don't agree. Let's practice this. Ethan, say a statement and I will agree or disagree.
Pizza is the best food in the world.
I completely agree.
Pineapple belongs on pizza.
I strongly disagree. See? No am in sight.
Just I agree and I disagree. Oh, this next one is a classic false friend or false cognate. It's the word actually. Lily, when a Spanish speaker hears actually, what do they think it means?
They think it means actualmente, currently, or right now. It sounds so similar. Actually sounds like actualmente, but they mean completely different things.
Yes. Actually means in reality or in fact. De hecho, realmente. We use it to correct someone or to show surprise. Exactly. So if you want to say actually, meaning at the present time, what word should you use, Ethan? You should use currently, or right now, or these days. Correct? I am currently looking for a job. Actualmente estoy buscando trabajo. Actually, I am looking for a job. This sounds like you are correcting a previous statement, not talking about the present moment.
That is such an important distinction. Let's do a quick comparison. Currently, I currently live in Madrid. Ahora mismo vivo en Madrid. Actually, I look young, but actually I'm 40 years old. De hecho, tengo 40 años.
All right, let's close out our list with mistake number 7. This is the difference between very and to.
Ah, yes. Many people use them interchangeably, but they have very different vibes.
Exactly. In Spanish, both are often translated as muy or demasiado, but in English, to has a negative connotation. It means more than enough or to an excessive degree that causes a problem.
Let's use an example with coffee. I love coffee. If my coffee is very hot, can I drink it?
Yes, it's just high temperature, but you can still drink it. It's very hot, muy caliente.
But if my coffee is too hot, can I drink it?
No, you can't. If it's too hot, it means it will burn your tongue. It is an obstacle. It is demasiado caliente.
That is the perfect way to understand it. Very means highly, but positive or neutral. She is very smart. Too means excessive, usually negative or a problem. This suitcase is too heavy. I can't lift it.
So if you go to a restaurant and the food is delicious, don't tell the chef, this food is too good. Well, actually, sometimes people say that as slang, but grammatically, stick to this food is very good.
Wow, Ethan, we covered a lot of ground today. Let's do a lightning fast recap for our listeners so they can lock this information in their brains.
Let's do it.
People are always plural. I am 25 years old. Never I have 25 years. Explain to me. Never explain me. Miss the bus. Never lose the bus. I agree. Never I am agree. Currently means actually mente. Actually means de hecho.
Very is just muy. Too is demasiado. Creates a problem. Perfect. Guys, don't feel bad if you have made these mistakes in the past. It is a completely natural part of the learning process. The important thing is that now you know how to fix them.
Absolutely. Practice just one of these fixes this week. Once you master it, move to the next one.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today in episode 23. If you loved this episode, please share it with a friend who is also learning English. And subscribe to Aprende Inglés Fácil.
Keep practicing, keep smiling, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.